And here we finally are. The political earth will shake, the heavens will fall, and there will be a more obvious course set going forward in electing the next president. At least that is the intent behind the Iowa caucuses. But as we have seen this political season, plans have a strange way of not going as planned. There are several candidates counting on a plan that would be historic in nature, one where more people show up to cast a vote than at any time in history. Why would those younger voters do such a thing in the dead of winter? And speaking of dread and dead, candidates fiddle while the world seems to burn, and they continue to sling insults while we are once again at the doorstep of a global financial disaster. Wonder if anybody has told the candidates and the voters. Let me tell you a word or two about what voters on any or no political side need to consider going forward after Iowa. And I wonder how many people have the guts to consider it, telling it like it is. So spin the big Iowa prize wheel. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hardline for Monday, February 1st, 2016.
It's been such an amazing experience. First of all, Iowa is a great place. It's a great state with just the most fantastic people. And I must say, win, lose, or draw, I love you folks all. I love you all. It's been...
Now, most of America at this moment is sitting back and watching. The people of Iowa are taking their time in the political sun, reveling in it. Every 4 years they get this. They're about to make a little history. The only question now is what kind of history will be written? That which will begin the rise to power of someone who has never before touched any facet of government, elevate closer to a position of authority someone who may be more fitted for an orange jumpsuit, or someone else who may or may not have a clue as to how to make America better, but at the moment fits what is needed, that of a warm body. Buckle up, let's scour the cornfield and caucus rooms for some answers. Our guest is the former chief of staff to Iowa Representative Steve King and the author of Grassroots Rules, How the Iowa Caucuses Help Elect American Presidents. Welcome, Dr. Christopher Hull, to the Hardline. Dr. Hull, it's a pleasure, and let's get right to work here, because here we sit a couple of hours before everything is supposed to begin. Tell us what's happening right now with regard to all the jockeying and the guessing and everybody going, come on, vote for my guy instead.
Right now, it's phone calls. There are thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of phone calls. They're being made in an automated way. They're being made by candidates. They're being made by volunteers across the state. There are tweets. There are Facebook posts. There is door knocking, everything conceivable to get people to turn out, to get one's supporters to turn out and come and support the candidate of their choice.
But what about on site right now? Because they're gathering in all these precincts, all these little rooms, auditoriums, whatever it is. And from what we hear, this is where the elbow rubbing really begins and where they start the arm twisting to make people vote for their own candidate. That in itself is a great game within the game.
Absolutely. I ran my caucus in the year 2000. At this point, I was in the room, and the first people were in the room, and we were beginning to cut up the paper ballots that I copied at Kinko's, setting up the tables to make sure we could sign people in, getting all of the spreadsheets ready to check people off. And we were just beginning to have conversations about how things were going to go and who was going to speak when. And it's a civil process, but it's also a high-stakes process, Ed.
In your opinion, what is going to make the difference? What do you think people are talking about right now with regard to Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and Marco Rubio?
You know, I think that there is a debate going on within the Republican Party right now about which direction we should go. Are we satisfied with the direction that the Republican Party has taken, people are asking. Do we trust that the people in Congress that we have given the reins of power to have told us the truth about what they were actually going to do, and they've accomplished something along those lines? I think that the more that they think that the answer to that is yes, the more that they're from Mars. But also the more they're going to be, generally speaking. And I think that the vast majority of people here in Iowa feel that the answer to that is no, and those voters are going to be supporting candidates who are more insurgent. That's going to be the critical determining factor, I think, in tonight's caucuses.
30 seconds. One quick last question from you right now. How much anger is going on in these rooms right now? Because you talked about maybe people lying, little things that are said, little white lies here and there that the candidates say, and people are going at each other going, no, this one's wrong, this one's wrong, this one said this was a lie, this one's back and forth. Tell us about that.
You know what? Generally speaking, in these rooms, that doesn't happen. In these rooms, you have neighbors getting together and talking about this. It's certainly happening on the airwaves and in ads. It's certainly happening between the candidates, and it's certainly not going to stop in Iowa.
Oh, I can only imagine. This is the kind of thing where you would want to be the bug on the wall right now and see what's happening here. Dr. Christopher Hull, I want to thank you so much for joining us, giving us a little insight as we head right towards the evening where everything will happen.